73 on the other. You can actually bowl a bit on the shorter side. You won't mind if the batters are playing off the back, but especially on the offside. That's the dimension there. 70 meters on the offside for both the right-handers and 73 with extra cover and mid-wicket. 82 meters, that's pretty long. A little more elbow room for the spinners here because of the dimension. Beautifully bowled. Very nicely done.
Yeah, he's shown in the previous two matches that when he gets his length right, and look at that seam come out, it grips. And that's going to ask some good questions of both these right-handers now. A little bit of drift, and then hit.
The शहर 30 स्पोर्ट्स 1.5 लाख खिलाड़ी SFA चैंपियनशिप्स आओ मैदान में.
As we see Aaron Hardy come back into the attack. 12 off his first over. This is always a big set. India on track for another 200 plus score here. Even though they're 2 for 80 and behind where they've probably been in previous games, the signs are dangerous for Australia with this partnership forming.
Wide one, throws his hands at it. I think what Matthew Wade did at that point of time when India were 2 down and giving bare end of the third over was the right move in my opinion. The reason being he was bowling beautifully, and he's, as you rightly said, if he had got one of them, India would have been 3 down, and he was bowling beautifully. So people might argue, oh, why the third over to him when he's only got 4 overs? But someone like him at that stage, 1 more wicket, and you've got the upper hand against India.
And tactically as well, I think Wade got it wrong to Gaikwad not having a slip in place early.
What a way to be dismissed. Aaron Hardy will celebrate it because it's one of the best wickets in T20 right now going around. It's Surya Kumar Yadav, and it's a key wicket for Australia.
Yeah, what a moment for the young man. Aaron Hardy from WA, the young all-rounder, gets his first T20 international wicket. And what a wicket it is. The Indian skipper, who's on song, he tries to slug that down to fine leg. One of his inventive shots. And he only gets top edge through to Matthew Wade. So he's gone. Surya Kumar Yadav for 39 off 29. And what a strike for Aaron Hardy. India now 81 for 3.
स्किल स्टील और दिल से बन रहा है भारत. AMNS India, smarter steels, brighter futures.
Yeah, drinks break, and Australia get a wicket. And the new batter, Tilak Varma. Still young in his T20 international career, but with a lot of promise. Haydos asked a question, he got the answer. How do they get a wicket? They've got a wicket.
Is smart bowling as well. Pace off delivery. Another big tall person from the west. I swear there's no one under 6 foot apart from Simon Kadich from the WA. Might have forgotten 1 or 2 other players, but that's a really good smart delivery, off pace delivery, good line as well. Didn't allow Surya Kumar Yadav to get that position that he wanted onto the ball, which is inside the line of the ball.
Yeah, that was definitely part of the plan to Surya Kumar Yadav, particularly in the first game at Vizag when he played beautifully for 80. The Australians went into the surface with a lot of pace-off deliveries. This is followed on here from Hardy. and they've got the rewards with it. He was probably there to play a back foot pull shot too, but because he's trying to flick it down to fine leg over the keeper fine, didn't quite get it right.
That's in the gap. Should get a couple.
That was exactly what you just called. Exactly the same ball, exactly the same pace. 114 was the dismissal ball. 114 was that last ball. And on that occasion, just sat back and was able to play quite easily a pull shot. It's an important part of the game, premeditating, but you have to do it with acute awareness of what a bowler's going to do. And I don't think they've probably got enough intel on Hardy.
Played into the gap, and this time he'll get a boundary. 8 runs coming off that over to go with the wicket of Surya Kumar Yadav. It's 88 for 3.
Yeah, Aaron Hardy going into the surface again with pace off, but just getting a little bit too predictable at the back end of that over. And Gaikwad was sitting and waiting for that.
स्किल स्टील और दिल से बन रहा है भारत AMNS India smarter steels brighter futures
After the power play, Tilak Verma has got a job on hand.
And interestingly, I would have thought this would have been the wicket, looking at it, that was going to be more dominant inside the power play, because it had a real sheen on it, Simon Kadich. Not a lot of grass, but, you know, that polished black clay, which is often just handsome for batting.
I think it highlights the Australians bowling a much better length with the new ball tonight.
Kane Richardson has been swung away. Not the right line you want to be bowling, and that too with pace on. Still awaiting the signal because it went fast. Couldn't make it with the side screen right in front of us. Clearly a 4.
It's a boundary. Probably deserved more than that, because that was absolute rubbish. It's amazing, this game is so much about the execution. You can come up with all the plans you want, but at the end of the day, if you deliver something like that, you're going to get hurt. So amongst this really good bowling effort tonight, there's also been some moments of time where the execution hasn't quite been there. Matthew Wade said that at the toss as well, that it really is about just trying to play our best game. They're not quite there yet.
Lovely shot. It just pinged off the bat, beating the man at point and deep point.
Might be biased being a left-hander, but that's the shot of the night for mine. That was pure class from Tilak Varma. He knows that Kane Richardson's going to angle the ball across him, and he's just opened the blade and carved that backward a point. Got into such a powerful position when you look at his back foot anchoring there, and just guided that away beautifully. That's class.
Missed his line in the onside with the first boundary. Probably should have gone for 6, then missed it now on the offside. And he's such a class player, Tilak Varma. We're going to be watching him for many years play that identical type shot. Loves that little bit of freedom and width as left-handers do. Love it outside that off stump. You put your hands through it, the natural angle takes it further away from the left-hander as well.
Yeah, good hands through there. And to the point that you were making in the last game, in the last over, it is such a brutal format anyways for a bowler. When you talk about execution, just the case in point that those 2 deliveries which were bowled in the last over, 115, both of them were possibly the same line too. But most of these modern day batters are sweating on a short one. So the one which got Surya Kumar Yadav and the one which was hit for a 4 would have been 2 different lengths. Completely 2 different lengths. Slower one. But if you don't get your length right, you're asking for trouble.
Yeah, you made a good point off there, Karthik, around that. If you're going to bowl a slower ball, it's got to be right on the money with length. And the youngster Hardy tended to just bowl these 3 slower balls. One that was a good length that got Surya Kumar Yadav out. Right line as well.
Oh, this time it's the right-hander Ruturaj Gaikwad. Beating both the points and 100 up for India. 13 runs off that over. 101 for 3.
Well, this is absolutely smashed away.
स्किल स्टील और दिल से बन रहा है भारत AMNS India, smarter steels, brighter futures.
Wickets here, Australia. Also just looking to execute a little bit better.
India so far has been kept under check. 101 for 3 after 12. Sangha comes back into the attack. Start with a single. Looking at the run rate, it's 8.38, and looking at the history of this venue, it's not a bad thing for Australia India going at 8.3.
Yeah, this is width offered from Richardson, who's really expensive. Just can't find a way to execute, going for boundaries both sides.
Could be a little rusty as well. Kane Richardson has been sitting on the benches, just came for the series. Yeah, but should be happy. So far so good for Australia. You're looking at 180, 190 at least of the surface. It's still achievable. I need to go at 12 and over from here on, India. Tilak Verma gets an opportunity here, comes out to bat. I think it's the right moment, the 10th, 11th over for someone like Tilak Verma he has the luxury to take a few balls and few deliveries to get himself in. Wide given.
As far as India is concerned, they've got a situation here where they can build on, because the stage is set. They lost early wickets, but they record well. And who knows, if Rinku Singh gets going towards the end, they might even fancy a score of around 200, because the pitch is good for batting, and they've done it earlier as well, so that'll give them the confidence too that they can do it again. This game is all about replicating things that you do well and try to replicate it as consistently as you can.
I must admit, I was a little surprised at just how much the ball moved inside those first 4 overs in particular. Behrendorff was getting the ball to really talk.
Pulls it and pulls it in the gap. Enough time for Ruturaj Gaikwad to rock on the back foot and find the gap for himself.
He may not be fluent like you would have seen him in the past, but today he's waited for the loose deliveries and put them away. And that's exactly what he's done on that occasion too. It is begging to be hit, half cracker, and he made full use of it.
Yeah, and this is what Sangha has been doing this evening. It's been regular occasion that there's been 2 bad balls and over, sometimes even 3. You get batsmen in their home conditions, they see anything like that and they start yelling Christmas.
It's beautifully played. Enough time to go over extra cover. That's 12 from the over. 113 for 3 after 13.
All I do is work. All I do is work. Work.
Freedom to throw his arms at it. There was a man out in the deep, and He had to bisect the fielders out in the deep.
A change of gears for Ruturaj Gaikwad. He's going runner ball, but suddenly now he's raised to 41 of 29. Hardy to bowl his third. Rinku Singh, Akshar Patel. But India's got batting till 7. That's the other thing, got to be mindful of. These two would be are in the centre. Hardy's been good. Obviously lack of experience is quite evident in the last over. The pace off, but too straight. Gets away with that. Will only get a single.
It's interesting when you look at what's to come, whether that actually does relate to a conversation that these two will be having in the middle with the partnership, because it's not a game where you're thinking protection. And of course, when you're getting delivered balls like this, that's a half tracker, that's a real free hit. You're probably not overly worried about what's to come. Just wonder how much of an importance that has.
I guess they'll start thinking about it, provided there are a couple of good overs from an Australian point of view. But as of now, they've been gifted a couple of boundary deliveries almost every over. It's good running, good cricket. Played with soft hands in the gap for a couple of runs. And Ruturaj Gaikwad again, after a slowish start and a watchful start, he's picked it up.
Plays really well on the offside and down the ground. Doesn't miss out on opportunities when he gets short deliveries and wet as well. And what is good about him is that he's very decisive against the spinners as well as the fast bowlers too. And this partnership is really flourishing now. 35 of 19. So these two won't be worried about what is going to be thrown at them.
That's beautifully timed. Magnificent piece of timing.
Just toying with young Hardy here. Have a look at his setup for a start. Gaikwad, it shuffles across the crease. Now that is right in the bowler's mind. So he tries to get wide outside off stump. But his hands are so good. And at the moment, 100% agree, BW. He's now striking at 151. He knew his place and role early up. Get the more dominant batsman on strike. Now he's taking over.
Once again, he's shown how good he is pacing his innings. That's a key component for a batter, especially when you're batting at the top of the order. When you consume some time, you need to ensure that you don't really let that side down by getting out at the wrong time. Of course, there's no good time for getting out. But still, when you consume deliveries, you make it count towards the end of the innings.
It's been a very well-paced innings, like you mentioned, because when you're batting with someone like Ishan Kishan and Yashasvi Jaiswal, your role's different. Should another wide. The pressure telling on the young man. But again, as soon as Surya got out, you realize that it's going to be him now taking over. And that's what he's done exactly since Surya's wicket.
17 extras already. That's basically the goal of just one batsman. And free balls, you get another go at it as well. And how many times was the next ball scored off? It's those basic disciplines.
That's a cracking shot. Races to the boundary. And it's his fourth T20 I-50 for Ruturaj Gaikwad. Back-to-back half centuries for the young man.
When an inexperienced bowler is under pressure, this is what happens. And when he's bowling with a 5-4 field, he's rather confused as to what lines he's got to bowl. And that's exactly what is happening here. He's been bowling on both sides of the wicket and is leaking runs. Is young Hardy.
Yeah, the length was there again. We mentioned Sangha, just there was free hits. That's a free hit. One thing you don't get away with on these slow wickets, these clay wickets, not a lot of grass, not skipping through.
A much better length, especially if you're bowling pace off. It's not one of those pitches where you pitch it kind of shot with the pace off because it's going to skid through any which way. It sits up nicely to be hit. Another very good innings from Rituraj Gaikwad. A different kind of an innings as compared to the last one. Appreciated by his teammates, his captain, rightly so.
He was having a strike rate of around 100 when he was in the 20s. Now he's upped it to 157. That's terrific progress, and he knows when to accelerate really well.
By 14 already. And last ball is Tilak Verma on strike. Quite a few changes now in the field. Right, so he's got a deep point, a third, a fine leg, deep square leg, and a long on. For his last ball. Is it wide? Yes, it is. Another wide, third of the over.
Decent pace. He looks like a very strong man. Got a pretty easy action to the crease, nice gather. 130 kilometres an hour, but I'm sure with you out there, it would have felt more like 140.
He's got a very good action. It's a very easy action. Very repetitive. He comes round the wicket now. Pulls it to the boundary. 19 from that over. The 50 partnership comes up as well of just 26. It's 1-3-2 for 3 after 14.